I will be introducing Imade. I'm trying to call up the screen. She was part of the team that developed the DUCAP methodology, a project delivery methodology to advance project management practices in Nigeria. Imade holds certifications as a project manager, PMP and Prince 2, change management ProSci, risk manager, CRM, and management consultant, CMC. She also holds a master's degree in business administration, a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants and the Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria. She's also a member of the Project Management Institute and British Project Professional Society. Imade currently serves on the faculty of the world's leading change management organization in Iran and consults for several public and private sector organizations in Nigeria. She founded the Execution Club and the Execution Bootcamp to provide strategies to individuals to enable them to execute their personal or business ideas and projects successfully. So far, she has helped over 1,000 individuals and organizations achieve their goals and is currently on a mission to reach 4,000 by 2025. She's fondly called the Strategic Execution Queen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you Imade Bibowei-Osuobeni. Woo! Imade, you have the floor.
Okay, so we have about 25 minutes, and I'll just try and tie in what Stella has said to what Kapo has said, using my life as a case study, right? So I want this to be as experiential as possible, and I'll be as vulnerable as possible as well, because that's the way we can actually learn from this session. Because if we're here for Google, we can actually just go and Google, right? So you heard all those things that it seems like I've actually achieved, but the truth is I was never this way. Okay, so I grew up very, very bold. You know how you have like a bold child. So I always knew what I wanted to do, what I wanted to become, how I wanted to live my life. I knew that I wanted to speak in public, right? And it turned out that at age 11, I woke up one morning. I used to be like depressed. You know those debates in those days where you are the one that says, I want to convince you and not confuse you. If you did that, let me see your hand in the comments, right? Those people that do those debates that say, I want to convince you and not confuse you, right? I was the girl for that. And I woke up at age 11 and I got to school. I couldn't make a complete speech. I moved from a place where I could speak like a parrot, like brooms. And I realized that I had developed the late onset of stammering. And that meant that I got to school at age 11 and I was a stammerer, in quotes. You know what we call stutterer now? Used to be stammerer in those days. It was like that real. And imagine the shock on my friends and their faces when they saw the great Imade who could do all the debates, started stammering. And because we were children, these people reacted as children. And my teachers reacted to the best of their ability. And the next thing I heard was that, your dreams are finished. Imade, you are finished. Imade, you can no longer be that great person again. You can no longer speak in public. And imagine as well that my family at home were also shocked, seeing that a child wakes up stammering. How do you explain that after 11 years, when you thought she had already escaped that particular phase? And on that day, something died within me. I didn't realize that I was dead completely, because you know how you hear people say, oh, you can't do this, you can't make it, you're no longer good enough, right? And you heard that consistently for so long, you start to believe it. And I was just like that. So I turned 21 and I was just taking stock of my life. And I tried to remember, what had happened between 11 and 21. I couldn't quite remember. Because quite honestly, I was filled with so many dissatisfaction, disappointment, you're not good enough. I had very pretty sisters. So imagine people describing you by your sister's name. Like, are you not Yvonne's sister? Because they were that pretty. So not only I couldn't talk well, I was also the ugliest in quote in my house. I was not the brightest in quote. So it was like the world was against me. And I just shut down, completely shut down. And then I had one friend, who just kept telling me, how you have to be careful around who you keep in your circle? You need to pay attention to that. Because this girl and some people kept telling me, you're not good enough. Imade, your voice be like man. Have you heard that before from somebody? Like your voice be like man. Like everything about me was wrong in the eyes of people. And they consistently passed on that message. And in turn, I consistently believed them. And I spent about 11 years of my life and I was just not productive. And then I woke up one morning and I said to myself, my friend called me that day and she was in the UK. She had a good job, a very good job. And then I was just there, married. My life was over because marriage for me at that time was an escape. So you are not fine. You don't have a good voice. You stammer, just marry, at least achieve something. And at that time, it was an escape to achieve something like a masquerade, yeah, to achieve something. And then at 21, I just gotten married and the girl called me and she was just telling me about how fantastic her life was and how she was doing so well. And at that moment, like the scales fell from my eyes, literally. Like, how is it normal that I'm watching people who have literally killed me? Like these people with their words, with their comments, with their opinions, with their feedback, they killed me every single day. And how was it normal that I was watching them excelling and soaring in their own personal lives? And that was the day I said, you know what, I'm going to make a change. Because this thing, you must always remember, when life throws bricks at you, when life throws stones at you, when life throws hurt at you, don't throw it back. Because each time you refuse to do what you're supposed to do, you're throwing it back. For about 11 years, I was throwing it back. I was throwing anger. I was throwing resentment. I was throwing fear. I was throwing inferiority complex. You're not good enough. I was throwing all of that back. So when life throws you stuff, don't throw it back. What you have to do is to build. And that was when I said, you know what, it's over. This anxiety, this fear, this not being good enough, this everything else that was holding me down, it had to be over. And on that particular day, I made up my mind and I remembered my 11 years old. What was I planned for? I had to go back to 11. What were the things that I dreamt of? What were my dreams? What were my aspirations? What was I thinking about? And then I began to do the things I had to do. And let me go into now, how I've moved. Now, as you heard, I've not only spoken in local platforms, I've been on top international platforms so far. I now currently consult for boards of international organizations, have a thriving full-time job in Nigeria. I now have 4 children. I founded the Execution Club and the Execution Bootcamp. I've written so many books. I've coached so many people, but that didn't start at 21. And this is the first lesson. How do you move from idea to execution? How do you move from the point where you feel like you have so much to give? I'm seeing a number of us here, and I know for sure that you have so much to give. Yesterday alone, I turned down an offer of over $100K. Why? Because I know that I have so much to give, and I know exactly where I'm supposed to stay in time. But I didn't get here in one day. I didn't get here feeling good enough. I didn't get here feeling fine enough, but I had to execute. And I want you to write this down. You don't win on emotion. You win on execution. So it doesn't matter how fearful you are, how terrified you are, how anxious you are, how much, like Bankole said, you have limiting beliefs, how you believe what people have said. You cannot win on emotion. You cannot win on emotion. For you to win, you have to execute. And what does execution mean? There is one very popular definition. For you to say you execute someone, you kill it, which means that in life, until you kill it, until those ideas, you kill it, until those dreams of yours, you kill it. And in this sense, you are actually killing it, which means that you are taking it from start to finish. So execution means that you kill it. You cannot afford to start and stop. You cannot afford to start and be afraid. It's a misnomer to watch people who have told you all the negative stuff. They keep you down, but they are thriving. That is not the way to respond. The way to respond is to kill it, because people cannot argue with your results. So the first thing you must remember, that you cannot win an emotion and you have to kill it. And so at 21, I went back to my life and I said, you know what do I need to do? Which is the first thing to move from idea to execution. You need to plan. Come on, guys. I know we've thought about planning like, oh, I'm thinking about it. No, thinking about it is not the only way to plan. In fact, thinking about it is just one thing of the conversation. You need to plan. And in planning, I'm not just saying have thoughts, have ideas, because the truth is greatness is not a potential. Greatness is not a potential. The execution of your potential is greatness. Greatness in itself is not a potential. So you know how we marry guys with potentials, how we have relationships for potentials, how we say, oh, don't worry, I have great potentials. Greatness in itself is not a potential. The execution of those potentials is greatness. So don't get it twisted, guys. And so in planning, you have to be deliberate, which means that you need to go from the realm of just thinking it. You need to go from the realm of just thinking it and start doing it. And how do you plan? Which is the first important step. How do you plan? In my case, I went back to the books. What do I need to do? What were my dreams? What were my goals? I wanted to be a public speaker. I wanted to do project management. I wanted to be the best of the best in my field, right? And I said, okay, what do I need to do? Which is where most of us miss it. When we plan, we think that planning is just thinking in our heads. No, planning involves researching. It involves researching. It involves putting things down. I know it feels like cliche, write it down. Yes, write it down. Because if you don't write it down, it will never become tangible. Like I told you, this year alone, I wrote a book. And that book was useless to me. In fact, that book, I wrote it on 2 hours standing. Now, I wrote that book and I encountered issues with the publishing after spending so much amount of money. What happened? I went back, rewrote the book. The book is not yet out, but the copy of the book that I thought was rubbish, in quote, was on Amazon, right? I didn't pull it down. And every single day I see alerts for that book. That book that I thought was useless, was rubbish, but there were so many mistakes in that book, right? Till today, I see alerts for that book. That is dollars every day in my account, right? For something that I didn't even think was important. So this is the first step for you to move forward from idea to execution. You got to plan. And how do you plan? You don't plan by merely just thinking about it or romancing the ideas in your head. You have to write it down. Because people don't win on thoughts, they win on strategic execution. And for you to be able to execute in the right way, you must write it down. So in my case, I went back. I said, you know what? I want to be the best project manager. I want to be the best risk manager. I want to be the best change manager. I went down, I wrote it down clearly on paper. I made it plain. What do I need to do? And I wrote it down. And then I began to research, which is a very key part of planning. You must research. You have an idea, you have a dream. You want to be this great guy at your office. You want to take new roles. You want to start a business. You have a new business venture. You got to write it down. You have to write it down. In my instant, I wrote it down. What do I want to do? It became tangible. And I took each item and I went on massive research. And I said, you know what? I'm not playing small. I want the best of the best certifications in the world. And I wrote it down and I went to research. What is the best, certification in project management? What is the best in risk? What is the best in change? I went to do my research. A lot of us don't do our research. And the funny thing is, life comes with clarity. And clarity comes from doing. Clarity comes from doing. But you will be foolish if you take a step without clarity. I mean, there should be some measure of clarity. There should be some measure, even if it's that conviction in your heart, that I know for sure what I'm doing. Even that small conviction is clarity. And you begin to research. I went to research. What are the best certifications? How much should they cost? Where do I take them from? How do I take them? Who are the best providers? And I did my research. And in planning, one thing you must remember in planning, you must also think about the risks to it. You must think about your risk. You must think about your excuses. Because if you don't give up, you can't go up. Write that down. If you don't give up, you can't go up. To go up, you need to give up. And in this case, what are you giving up? Your fears, your anxieties, your limiting beliefs, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the feeling of worthlessness. Most of us here are sitting on gold mines. We know that we have ideas. We know that we have dreams, we have aspirations, but we are holding on to the fear, to the perfectionism, to procrastination. But if you don't give up, you can't go up. And in my case, I had to give up all of those fears. Oh, you are a stammerer. I had to give that up. You can't make it. You have 4 children. Your mates are in Harvard Business School. They are in Oxford Business School. You can't make it. How do you do it with 4 children? I had to give up those limitations. And how do you give up? You don't give up by merely ignoring them. You don't give up by ignoring them. You give up by isolating your excuses and dealing with them. So you need to honestly isolate your excuses. And sometimes fear is part of that excuse. Because like Stella said, if you're able to analyze your fear, you will know what the fear is telling you. In my case, you know how embarrassing it is to be on the podium and you cannot make a complete statement. Do you know how many nights I cried in my sleep? In fact, there was a time that when I saw pretty girls, I would just be, you know how you're just weak. You know how they say you are off. When you see pretty girls, I was just instantly, all my self-confidence drained from me. But I had to give that up for the life that I desired. I had to give that up for the life that I desire. So you must give up to go up. And in giving up, it's not just to ignore them or press them down or push them away. No, you have to isolate them and deal with them. So in that planning stage, you have to ask yourself honest questions. Why do I want to do this? In my case, I wanted to prove a point to myself that I was good enough. I was worth it. I was pretty enough. I was brilliant enough. My voice was enough. So my why had to be clear. So I'm asking you today, what are the things you want to do and why do you want to do them? Because sometimes our experiences influences our whys. So we are on paths and journey that we don't really want to be on. We are chasing dreams that we really don't want to be doing. We are pursuing things that we don't want to pursue. But because we have experiences that we are dealing with and we are taking the wrong reaction, we want to prove to them. You have nothing to prove to them because they are living their lives. You only have to prove to yourself. And in my case, at that time, I wanted to pepper them. Those ones who said, you can't speak on the stage, you are not good enough, you're not pretty, I wanted to pepper them. And at that point, I saw that in peppering them, in trying to pepper them in quote, I was losing steam. So when I saw that I wasn't peppering them in quote, I would lose motivation, I would lose steam. And that's why I'm telling you today, the only person you have to prove to is yourself. You must prove to yourself that everything they've told you, all those beliefs they've told you. Oh, in this organization, women don't rise. Oh, in this place, you can't be a woman. In this place, you can't do this. The only person you have to prove to is yourself. And you do this at your planning stage, because you cannot move from idea to execution without a form of planning. And in planning, you must do three things. First things first, you must think about it and you must write it down. And after writing it down, you've got to do your research. You have to do your research. Okay, this thing I'm going into, I want to be a manager. What do I need? I want to be a team leadership coach. What do I need? I want to start this business. What do I need? I want to, even as well as I want to be a good wife. What do I need? I want to be a good man. What do I need? You must do your research. What do I need to move from point A to point B? Because if you don't know what you need, you will not know what to acquire. If you don't know what you need, you will not know which opportunities to chase. If you don't know what you need, you will not know what to turn down. I turned down a 10K USD consulting job because I know what I need. At this phase in my life, I know what I need. And I know what I'm looking for. So you must know what you need to know what to acquire and what to reject. And then lastly, in your planning phase, you must isolate your excuses. What can stop me? What are my challenges? And in my case, I just got married. My husband is in the military, so I don't have luxury of the husband present. I was going to have children. So how did I want to achieve all of these beautiful things, with a family, no masculine support in quote. I was raising 4 children at the time, in the space of 10 years. How will I be able to move from point A to point B? So I had to isolate my excuses. I had to isolate my challenges. I had to isolate my constraints, because that prepared me for the life that I now live. Because knowing what can stop you, knowing what can happen will enable you to prepare for them. Because if you don't prepare for them, you're going to hit storms in life. Oh boy, I've hit unbelievable storms in my life. But what has anchored me apart from God is the fact that during my planning stage, I'm very introspective. I ask myself honest questions. Can I truly do this? Not from a place of self, a defeated mentality. No. I say, can I truly do this? What do I need to do this? Do I have what it takes to do this? Not from a place of place that empowers you, from a place that empowers you. Sorry, I was out for a few minutes. I hope you can still hear me. Yeah. So from a place that empowers you to acquire the things you have to acquire. So once I was able to say, what can stop me? I was able to put things in place to ensure that those things don't stop me. So you must be honest with yourself. What can stop you? Is it fear? Get help. Is it finances? Get help. Are you dealing with lack of support system? Get help. You must know what can stop you. You must know the things that can limit you so that you are better prepared to deal with them. And that's how I move now. So people see me and say, oh, you're so smart. With all of these children, you did all of these things. Planning. And I was very honest to say, in my current season, what can I accommodate? And what can I drop? Look, I know we've all heard about failure, my dear. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with stopping. The world and the society has made us feel like each time we stop something, each time we give up, each time we encounter obstacles and say no more, we have failed. No. Sometimes when you look at a particular situation, you can actually stop. You can say, you know what, I've taken the wrong route. I've taken the wrong path. I have to stop. That in itself is strength. So don't be fooled by the need to hold on to things. Don't be fooled by the need to hold on to your mistakes and your experiences. Sometimes you might be on a business pursuit or a career pursuit. And when you look at things objectively, it's time to stop. So it's okay to stop. And how do you know when to stop? Planning. Planning, keep your why in mind. Why am I doing this? What do I stand to gain from doing this? What do I stand to lose from not doing this? What do you stand to gain from not doing this? And how far do I have the strength to go through with this? What weaknesses do I have that can stop me from going through with this? How can I leverage people? How can I, build opportunities? You must keep those things in mind. That's the first thing, planning. And then the second thing was preparation. Guys, if you've been in my shoes, you probably know how rejection feels like. For some of us, rejection looks like different things. So for you, it might just be the fact that you've had people who just say, you're not a starter, or you're not a finisher, or you're not a business person, or you are not this sort of. So people have labeled you. And for you, that might be your expression of rejection, right? So if you know what that feels like, when people have told you you can't do this, you can't go past this level. Someone told me, how can you be on the board in Iran? You don't speak Persian. No Black person, no non-Muslim person, no non-Iranian person has been able to be on this position. So for some of you, that might be your reality where you are being rejected. And like I said, it will look different to different people because rejection comes in different forms. And imagine that kind of life for a long time. I had to prepare. And this is why everything that Stella said and Bankole said are very important. You must prepare yourself mentally. Because as you go through life, you must expect the storms. But what you do is prepare for the storms. So you don't wish the storms away. That would be foolhardy. You don't wish the storms away. You prepare for the storm. And that is why for execution, to move my day to execution, you must prepare for the storm. So for me, my storm looks like, how would you, be on this path? You have kids going to school and you're also going to school. How do you fund it? So I had to prepare for the storm, my mindset. There were days where I did 3 days without sleeping. I did my MBA in about 9 months, right? And I had to take exams sometimes back to meet up. And I had to prepare myself mentally. Most of us, like Bankole said, we go into execution half-baked because there's this pressure to move from without. Please know this, at each point in time in your life, you must move from within. At each point in your life, you must move from within. People can motivate you. People can inspire you. They can encourage you. But the ultimate strength to succeed lies from within. So you must ensure that at each point in time, what you carry within is what expresses without. So imagine someone like me who has been told that you cannot speak in public. You can't be a public speaker. You can't do this and that. I had to consciously prepare my mind. And this is the second point to move from idea to execution. You must prepare your mind. You must give up those beliefs, I call them cobwebs. You know how cobwebs are, right? How cobwebs are. They're in your house. They're not disturbing you per se, but you are irritated by them. And you know how flies are sometimes. Just one fly can irritate you that you can finish a whole fleet on that fly. And that's how limiting beliefs and these mindset things can be. They can be so small, right? As small as the fear of failure or success, in quote. And they can mess up things for you big time, right? So you have to prepare your mind, find support. If you're dealing with fear, find support. For me, I had to surround myself with people who would give me genuine feedback. Because some people can mess you up. Some people can love you into destruction. So they love you so much. They don't want you to embarrass yourself. They don't want you to waste your resources. They don't want you to make a fool of yourself. So because they love you, they are saying, oh, you can't do this thing. Oh, my dear, you're not built for entrepreneurship. Oh, my dear, you're not built for this NGO kind of life. Oh, my dear, this work is too big for you. They love you. So you have to draw the line between love and destruction. You have to draw the line between love and destruction. Because ultimately, nobody sees the things that you see. Nobody has the vision that you have. So you must know when to say, you know what, stop. I appreciate your love for me. I appreciate your concern for me, but I'm doing this. And find people who will support you regardless, right? So, and that's the second step to move to execution. You must prepare your mind. You must do things that encourage you. You must do things that, bring out that strength within you. Because like Stella said, fear will not go away, especially when you are going into something bigger. So if you're stepping into new territories, fear may not go away. But how you respond to the fear, how you listen to the fear. Because people say, oh, don't pay attention to fear. I would say pay attention to fear. But like Stella said, don't feed it. So when you're feeling afraid, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Call it a name. What am I feeling? Okay, I feel like I'm going to stammer when I'm presenting. Do something about it. I feel like I'm going to fail in this business. Do something about it. What am I feeling? You must name your fear. And when you name your fear, you must deal with it. You must deal with it. And then people help you do that. I know people who I just call and say, I'm going for this presentation, and they'll just give you ginger and morale and say, you can do this, babe. That day, they'll encourage you. So you must prepare. That's the second step. Prepare for execution. Okay, treat your mindset. Get rid of those things that stop you. And the final part is the part where you now get to do the work, because ideas without execution is foolishness. So if you have ideas that are so great. Ideas in themselves are useless, right? They are useless. So you must execute them for them to be able to be fruitful for you. And when you hear ideas, don't just think about business ideas alone, right? This conference was somebody's idea, okay? You're aspiring to be a leader in your organization is an idea. You're wanting to be better placed in your profession is an idea. You're wanting to move from one job to another is an idea. Okay? So when you hear ideas, don't always think in monetary, it has to be business idea. No. Anything tangible that fills your life, that takes you from A to B is an idea. And when you're executing, you have to be strategic, right? You don't just go in random circles. You must ensure that at each point in time, you are wired for greatness. And how do you do that? First things first, you must envision. Oh my goodness. Like you must envision where you want to be. Like we take these things for granted, but my dear, you can't get to where you are where you want to be if you don't know how to get there. Or if you don't know what that place looks like. You must know what your destination looks like. Like you must know what your destination looks like. Otherwise, everything will be appealing to you. Every new road will appeal to you. Every new job will appeal to you. So you must know from the get-go what your destination looks like. Because if you don't know what it looks like, even when you're missing the turn, you won't know. So you can be so productive and you're moving and then you don't know where you are headed. Right? I told you, each time people see me, they ask me, how were you able to get all of this certification that look related? I'm not sure, and I said it with all sense of humility. I'm not sure we have very many people who have the same skill set that I have. Project, strategy, change, risk, M&E. I'm not sure. So I'm not sure we have that combination very plenty in the world we had today, right? But how did I make that possible? I was able to have my destination in mind. You must know where you are going to. And you must then begin to do your research to say, how do I get there? And when you know how to get there, you must do it in fine lines. It must be line upon line, precept upon precept. In fact, you have to dump the pressure. You have to dump societal pressure and, relationship pressure. Once you are executing, know your destination. If you've planned very well, you know how to get there and keep your focus on that destination. And like Bankole said, your vision must match where you're going. So you must have a clear vision of where you're going. Otherwise, everything will appeal to you. There are jobs that I cannot take right now because I know where I'm going to. There are things that I will not engage in because I know where I'm going to. So you must keep that destination in mind. You must envision it. You must romance it. You know how you treat you have a relationship, a guy or a girl that you love, and you know how everything you do seems to revolve around them. You must ensure that your activities revolve around your goals. You must ensure that your activities are towards your goals and revolve around them. Because sometimes in the pressure, in the distraction, in the very legitimate demands of life, you can be so busy doing so much, but you're not seeing your results. I'm sure we may all feel like that sometimes. It seems like you're doing so much, but you're not getting to where you're going. It is time tonight to say, you know what are my goals, guys? Like, what are my goals? Honestly, like, what do I want? And if you're doing this, be sure that you are not being influenced as well. Because it got to a point where I was influenced by my experiences, I was influenced by my pain, I was influenced by certain desires that were not originally mine. So you have to say, you know what are my goals? Seriously, like, what do I want for myself? What do I want? Me, what do I want? It mustn't be anything fancy. As long as it's what you want is fancy to you. Somebody said that your taste never goes out of style. As long as it's your taste, it never goes out of style. So you must ensure that what you're pursuing, what your vision is, what you want to do. Because in doing that, you are able to keep your focus during execution. So during execution, you must envision your direction, envision your destination, know where you are headed, know what you want to achieve, have clarity, get support. When you feel down, when you feel low, when you feel pressure, find a community of like-minded people. Get feedback from those who you know will give you objective responses, because feedback can actually kill you. It killed me for many years. Right? So I know that feedback can be draining and damaging. So be careful who you take feedback from, because they become the compass of your life. So be careful who you take feedback from, for ultimately feedback must come from here, right? Here, your heart, your convictions, your whys, because people can lead you astray. Okay. And when you do this, I was deliberate. I said, today I was going to share my life with you, because you can Google other stuff online, right? But my life is my experience. And I've been through things I know that a number of us here have been through. So recently, I got a voice note from a lady who was literally crying. And why was she crying? She had this idea to launch a business for the past about 8 years or so, and she couldn't launch a business. And just about 1 month hand holding, her business is launched, right? I get today alone, I got a bottle of wine from my mentee just to say thank you. Like Stella said, this is beyond you, this is beyond me. I'm living the life that I want, not because it is comfortable, not because I don't have days where I say, you know what, I'm not doing this, but because it's the life that I want. And I put my why in front of me. And I ensure that my plans are foolproof to an extent, right? Because you can't always plan everything. But to the extent that I can plan, my plans are foolproof. I ensure that I don't deceive myself. I ask myself, what can stop me? What are my challenges? What do I need to resolve? Not bury, not ignore, because we have been trained to ignore. Oh, ignore them, ignore the haters. Don't ignore, resolve it. Because if haters have control over you, they can actually affect your life more than they should have. So if you keep these 3 things in mind, you need to plan. And in planning, you have to know that, okay, you assess your challenges, your risks, your issues, in preparation, you deal with your fears, your limiting beliefs, what can stop you. And then when you're executing, keep your vision in mind, keep your whys in mind. And this model can work for any idea, whether it is business or it is personal, right? And for business ideas, there are so many things you can do, so many things that are available online, your business plan, your research, all of those things. But if you keep these 3 steps in mind, you'll be able to move past the obstacles. You'll be able to move past the barriers. Because like Stella said again, fear robs you. And until you know the cost of the fear, until you know that, look, my life is on the line, and not just my life, the life of others are on the line, a generation. I've helped over 1,000 people this year alone. And I just imagine, what if I had stayed stuck? What if I've been in this place where I felt not good enough? Those people would have probably remained stuck. I met Edimeme at the boot camp for women, execution boot camp for women, and we're here today. Daily, I'm able to talk past stammering for too much. I'm mastering the game. I'm mastering speaking without stammering. I'm trying my best. I'm pushing forward. Is it painful? Yes. But are the gains there? Yes. Are the results coming? Yes. So I want you to remember, if you remember nothing tonight, remember that your life is waiting on you to show up for it. So you might think fear is holding you back. You might think it's limiting beliefs. You might think it's lack of finances. You might think it's imposter syndrome. But the truth is, your life is waiting on you to show up. And my question to you today is, will you take charge? Will you take charge? Will you take charge? I have a full-time job. I have different streams of passive income. I'm earning, I'm sleeping. Why? Because I took charge of my life. And I said, you know what? They can say what they want to say, but ultimately I will prove to myself, you take charge. Will you take charge? And it starts from tonight. It starts from writing your ideas down. It starts from doing your research. It starts from planning for them. And it starts from giving up those things that are holding you back. Yeah. So thank God I didn't cry.
Wow. Thank you so much, Imade. I see a lot of wows in the comment section. There's one thing you said that stayed with me, where you said you don't win on emotions, you win on execution. And people can't argue with your results because the results are there for people to see. Like when I was reading your profile, the results are there. So it's not emotion, it's these are the results I have executed and have gotten A, B, C. Imade, there's so many thank yous. You have delivered me. I'm taking charge in the comment section. Thank you so much, Imade. Thank you so much, Imade. You have inspired us with your story. I also love that you shared your story with us. So it was not some highfalutin things that you picked from the cloud. It was you sharing your heart with us, sharing your story with us. Thank you so much, Imade. Okay, now we are at the Q&A section. I know that we are pressed for time, so we'll just be quick with this. If you have any questions for Stella and Imade, yeah, very inspiring story. Okay, your life is waiting for you to show up. If you have any questions, please, now is the time to type it in the chat box. Amarachi says it sounds like her story. Well, Amarachi, now you see that you can change your story. You can change your story. Okay, do we have any question? Okay, I see this is relatable. Exactly. That's what happens when someone is sharing from their stories. Imade wasn't ready to stop. She came with a machine gun, as in. Yeah, thank you so much, Imade. Her passion for helping women execute is amazing. Is amazing. Okay, so do we have any questions for Imade and Stella? Do we have any questions for Imade and Stella? Okay, I have a question here, please. I think it's to you, Imade. What are some tips to defining your vision? Because you spoke about to know your why, what's your purpose, what's your vision. So this person is asking, what are the tips to even define what you think your vision is?
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So,
Yes.
like I said, I actually came with my story today. And I know that the book says, okay, for your vision, have your long-term goals, have your plans, have your dreams, know where you're headed. Picture, that's the textbook, right? Picture your end in mind. If you are your sick bed at 98, what would you wish you had done, right? So that's the popular answer. Picture your why. Picture the end time goal. Picture what you want to achieve. But for me, I defined my vision from how I wanted to change the narrative. So in my case, yes, people have said, imagine your long-term goals, you picture your end state. But for me, my vision, it was, I wanted to change the narrative. And I wanted to do so for many other people. And that was how I came up with my own vision. And I say I want a world where people can be the best of themselves, regardless of how they feel. And that was my vision. So for you, my best advice is you have to text answer, which is put the end in mind, picture where you want your life to be. But more than that, look inwards, ask yourself questions. What do I stand for? Like if I was to define myself in one sentence, what would that thing be? If a roll call was to be done at my funeral, what would be the 2-3 lines that I wanted people to remember me for? And with that, come up with your vision, because that drives the end. Unlike mission that can change from time to time, your vision is your overall entirety of where you're going to your final destination. So you can use these practical steps like me. In my case, like I said, I wanted to change my narrative and have a world where people will not go through what I went through. And even if they did, they will excel at it. So for you, my answer is look to yourself and ask yourself, in 3 lines, if I were dead, what would be the best 3 lines I want people to remember me for? What are those 3 things that I will wake up every day thinking about and feeling motivated and feeling true to myself? So that's like the best answer I can give you.
Thank you so much, Imade. Thank you so much. We have another question. Okay, it says, and I think this is with respect to your comments on clarity comes from doing. So the question is, sometimes I feel I don't have a very clear picture of my career. Is it okay to trust to gain clarity as I progress with life/work?
Yes. So I actually started as a marketer in Lagos. So imagine with all my fun and fanfare with a child, I was selling perfumes in Lagos, Yaba, Isolo, Oshodi Market. And at that time, I knew my destination, but I didn't have the means to get there. Okay, so yes, sometimes when you don't have clarity, it's fine. I'm personally on a new role now that has to do with investment analysis. I don't have clarity on this role. I don't even know what this role means for my overall life. In fact, I tell my colleagues that they change my destiny. You move me from my core to investment, right? So it's absolutely okay to be where you are. Whilst you are reaching deep to say, okay, what do I really want to do? What do I really want? What do I enjoy? What motivates me? What drives me? What is that thing that sparks a fire within me? Okay, so it's fine. Seriously, it's fine. And last 6 months ago, I was crying. I hate investment. I don't like investment. But 6 months after, I'm saying, there may be something in this for me, right? So it's absolutely okay to stand on where you are whilst you are actively, because wasting time is not wasting time. Wasting time, not wasting time. So whilst you're waiting, whilst you're trying to figure it out, you pay attention to what your inner is telling you, your intuitions, your desires, your fears, your pain. So while you're on this current role, it's okay. But you must ensure that you are paying attention to what your inner is telling you. Because as you're waiting, as you're doing the work, it becomes clearer. And sometimes sometimes things never become clear. But just know that they are all part of your experience, okay? They all form part of your experience. So whilst you're on this current, we'll just keep doing it. But as you're doing it, don't lose sight of that deeper voice within you that tells you, look this way, look that way, actually enjoy. I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Imade. Thank you so much. Waiting time is not wasting time. Okay, I have 2 related questions, so I'll just read them together. The first is, what specific steps have you taken to overcome the stammering challenge and speak more confidently? If you hadn't mentioned, I would argue you hadn't even experienced any speaking challenge before. And then someone says, I also stutter while speaking, though mine has reduced. How do I fully get out of it? Okay, this will be the last question we can take today. Yes.
Okay. So burst your bubble. I haven't gotten out of it. How did I move from where I was, which was the first day I spoke, and I was stammering, I was even crying in my heart, right? Like Edememe said, and like Stella also said, you must just keep doing it. For me, I had to constantly learn to speak slower to those around me. So I started with my children. They didn't used to hear me at first. Mommy, you're too fast. You're too fast. They didn't used to hear me. So I started with trying with those people around, those people I felt comfortable around, right? I started with deliberately taking slower speeches. So I was doing that for a while. Then I was also now actively seeking roles to speak, because I realized that I was always scared. And that fear also contributes to the stammering, right? So I was actively looking for roles to speak, but I will prepare so well that I will go on that stage feeling so confident. Okay, so second thing is you must ensure that you are in familiar territory. And when you're not, remember your past wins. So there were times where I'll be on the stage, I want to just lose it and speak faster or start stammering. I remember my past wins. And most times we forget our past wins. We only remember times that we failed. So you must remember your past wins. One, you must deliberately try to speak slower. So I try with my husband, with my close friends, with my kids, with my colleagues. I just speak slower. I speak in lower paces. And the truth is, once you are able to deal with the fear, and the anxiety that comes from within, you're relaxed. And once you are relaxed, you are able to now relay your speeches in coordinated form. I've never gotten over it. They told me that it was physiological, it was hereditary. So I'm not over mine yet. But what happens is I now deliberately take slower speeches. And the good news is the more you do it, the more you get used to speaking slower. And when you have to be fast, just keep reminding yourself, slow down, take a deep breath, and that works for me.
Thank you so much. I am going to listen to the replay over and over and over again, because it doesn't sound like you can get the meat of all the sessions in one listen. So thank you so much, Imade. Thank you so much. We have many comments. Thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much. I'm offering to help you. So I'm also a mindset coach, and I help individuals rewire their mindset so they can rise above limiting beliefs and fulfill purpose. Okay, now the good thing, like you would have seen, is, okay, I'm wondering why my screen isn't going up. Okay, the beautiful thing, like you would have seen, is we all start from somewhere. And our mindsets at the end of the day determine how far you would go, how far we will go. Okay, so I help people rewire their mindsets so they can rise above limiting beliefs and fulfill purpose. And if you were here from the beginning of this session, you would see how I shared my story from nothing to being a guest on a TV show to being nominated for the Strategic African Women in Leadership 2021 Trailblazers Awards to writing my first book. And it all started with a change in my mindset. So this is me offering to help you. This is me offering to help you. Of course, I will help you. There'll be external speakers, like we had external speakers today. And the overall aim of that session is to help you get off mindset blocks. Okay, so I did a search on my WhatsApp messages with the word proud, and it's amazing. It's amazing. You can have your mindset change and it will reflect in a change in your life. I have messages. I'm so very proud of you, Adams. The way you've pursued your dreams in the last has been short of magical. God is doing amazing with you. Great job at MMA, and thank you for taking charge. The growth you have recorded in the last few months goes a long way to show that if we set our hearts at something, we can achieve it. Nice one, at MMA. Proud of what you have been up to. You're doing great. So proud of you and inspired. Thank you, Ede. Proud of you. You did, girl. I'm proud of you. And this is just searching with the word proud. So I can help you. I know where I was, and I have said it for those who started with us at the beginning. I just knew that there was something more. There was more. I wanted more. I wanted to do more. I wanted to be more. But I was struggling with limiting beliefs. I was struggling with fear, and I was also struggling with execution. And in the space of 3 months, I have done these great things. Now I should add this conference to my CV. Okay, but that shows you that once your mindset is in place, every other thing falls in line. So I am offering to help you to rewire your mindset so that you rise above limiting beliefs and fulfill purpose. I have a Project Next Level Bootcamp that is going to start on Sunday, 15th August 2001. It will run for 6 weeks. And there are 2 objectives of the bootcamp: to help you stop self-sabotage and deal with your inner critic. I know this because I was there. I consistently sabotaged myself. And there was an inner critic that kept saying, "Remember, you can't do this, you're not good enough," and all of that. But I was able to overcome that. I would also help you to give you the confidence to pursue your dreams. And like Imade was sharing based on her story, and Stella was also sharing based on her story, they were sharing with us tips that they had used and worked for them. I would also be sharing the exact tips and strategies that I deployed that got me from where I was to where I used to be. So I am inviting you to register for this Project Next Level Bootcamp. Imagine where your life would be in the next 6 months. Imagine where your life would be in December. Now, you can choose not to register for this for maybe funds or for any constraints that you have, but time will still pass whether you register for this or not. So for the program fee is 60,000 Naira. And like I said, we're going to be helping you work to stop self-sabotaging and to help you reduce the voice of your inner critic. I'll also be helping you to build the confidence to pursue your dreams. If that's something that you want, and that's something everybody on this call should want, because our mindsets will determine our results and how far we go in life, the program fee is 60,000 Naira. And this is the lowest the cost will ever be because this is the first time. And it is $150 if you're going to pay in dollars. We also have an early bird fee of 40,000 Naira and $100,000. So if you pay between now and 8:46 p.m. tomorrow, you get to enjoy the discounted fee. Okay, so I'm going to be pasting the link in the chat box. Okay, the link to the pay stack, it will take you to where to make payments, and you just make payments. The first 10 people to register will get a free one-on-one session with me, a 1-hour one-on-one session with me. So if you just look in the chat box, you will see the pay stack links. Okay, so just click the link and it will take you right there. If you're paying in Naira, there's a link for Naira. And if you're paying in dollars, there's also a link for the dollars. Trust me, this is going to be a 6 weeks well spent. And like I said, whether you do this or not, time will still pass. Time will still pass. Time will still pass. Okay, so the USD link is up there. If you pay between now and the next 24 hours, you get to pay $100. The Naira link is there now. Okay, the Naira link is there as well. And if you pay within the next 24 hours, you get to pay 40,000. And if you think about it, this is a small price to pay when you compare it to the fact that this is your life. This is your life. There are destinies attached to yours. If I didn't take this bold step, the 100 and something people who were here today, 136, I think that was us at our highest, wouldn't have gotten all the liberation, the insights that we have gotten. So this is a really small price to pay when you compare it to the benefits, okay? So the program fee is 60,000 Naira / $150 if you're paying after tomorrow, 9 p.m. But if you pay today, you get to pay 40,000 Naira and $100. Oh, Esther says, I need this. So you want to click on that link and be part of the first 10 people who will get a free one-on-one session with me. You get a free one-on-one session with me and we can discuss. the class is going to be a group coaching session. So another benefit is that you're going to have accountability partners who also are looking to get from here to there. So you're going to be working with people who have dreams just like you. So I invite you to take this step. The link is in the chat section. Okay, so yes, because I fulfill my promises, I said that there was going to be a freebie for those of us who stayed till the end of the class. Now, I wrote an ebook. I'm sure you noticed I wrote writing a book, but I didn't count this as a book because I wrote it in 1 hour. Okay, but it's called Demystifying No, Stop Giving It So Much Power. I'm going to be pasting the link to that in the chat box as well. Because I found that what happens is sometimes we hear no and it's like, oh my God, that means I'm not good enough. Oh my God, that means, oh my God, that means. And then we keep giving no so much power, more power than it deserves. No, it's just no. No is feedback. Please let me paste the link. Okay, no is no. No is feedback. So stop giving. Okay, someone is asking for a pounds link. Will that work with the dollars link? Okay, I hear that it will work with the dollar link. So please, Fumbi, try the dollar link and let me know. Okay, so let's stop giving no more power than it deserves. No is just no. No is feedback. So in this free ebook that you get because you waited till the end, I give you, thank you, admin has dropped the link in the chat box. I give you 3 tips that I deploy that helps me stop giving no more power than it deserves. 3 tips that I deployed and still deploy that helps me to demystify no. So when I hear no, I don't take it personal because there's a yes waiting just ahead. And also because I value failure more than regret. So I'd rather fail than regret not having tried it. Okay, so at this point, I want to say thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining the Take Charge of Your Life conference.